This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. My name is Shawn. I'm an innovation strategist. What we do is we break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life. Oh, wow. All right, we are here with one of my favorite people, Juan Bendaña. How did I say that? In Nicaragua? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
He's an author, he's a thinker, he's one of the best speakers on the planet, like probably the hottest speaker on the planet.
No way.
Right?
No.
Man, I love this book. Confident by Choice. I actually listened to it on Spotify because I have Spotify Premium. You can listen to it and it's amazing. You get a great voice. How did you enjoy doing the audiobook?
First of all, I didn't even know it was on Spotify. That's pretty cool.
No, you didn't know it was on that?
No.
Oh, you can get it Spotify.
I thought it was on just Audible. It was awesome and gnarly doing the audiobook. Because you're in a studio, and I'm sure you've had this,
Yep.
You're in a dark room with just black walls. The ceiling is about here.
Yeah.
You have to stand at a mic like this and speak perfectly, and we're used to like giving presentations and having good alliteration and enunciation, nowhere close to what is needed for that.
100%.
So I was just like, I would have a producer in my ear and it was like, no, run it back. No, go again. No, you flubbed that word. You ended that sentence weird. So it was awesome, but 2 9-hour days in studio back to back for 6 hours and 32 minutes. So
did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
It sounded like you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was awesome once. After that, I was like, I had such a deep respect for voiceover artists. I was like, I can never do this.
You know what I noticed?
Wild.
Because when you're talking about things that are personal, you can kind of like tell that you're kind of maybe like reliving it. Because when you were talking about Britney, was it Britney?
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah, I know you're married now. But anyways, anyways, there's a story in your book where you ask her out, like you thought that she was like the one, and then she friend zoned you immediately.
Hard.
I can feel it.
Hard.
I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Big
So
time.
anyway, I thought it was really well done, and it's an awesome book. But before I get into that, man, we have to get to the first pressing issue because where were you when you watched the Blue Jays game on Saturday?
I will tell you that I was at home here now in Florida.
In Miami, yeah. We're Miami, by the way.
But the craziest, yes, in Miami. The craziest thing wasn't this series. It was the series against Seattle.
Okay.
Because I was staying in Toronto. It was my mom's birthday, my niece's baptism, between like 9 different events. So Gabby and I, my wife, went to Toronto for a few days. The Monday night, we were staying at a hotel because all our friends, my sister was right in the heart of the city. And I get a call 30 minutes before checking into the Marriott saying, sorry, sir, your room's been canceled. I was like,
what?
Never had that happen, ever. And I was like, okay, do tell. And they basically said, I don't know if you know, but the Jays forced a Game 7, and the hotel you're staying at is attached to the stadium, so now rooms are going anywhere from $4,000 to $9,000 a night. So we had to cancel your room and move you across the city, like an hour away with traffic. I was like, that's not gonna work. And I talked to him, we go back and forth. He's like, let me call you back. Calls me back 45 minutes later. And he was like, yeah, I talked to my manager, and there was one room left in this hotel, and it is the room that's the stadium view, that the window's literally open, and you can watch the game, but it's $9,000 a night. I was like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
At all. And he's like, what can we do? And we're talking for like 45 minutes. And then he goes to his director, he's like, let me run some numbers. Goes to his director. This happened like 2 weeks ago. He comes back, he's like, we can do 5,000. I was like, no, that's not gonna work either, but we're on the right track. And then we're talking, and then he says,
yeah, okay.
And then we're just like, his name was Jared, like building great rapport. And like most people to that moment, they bring sort of accusatory stress. How could you do this? This isn't right. I booked all that. I was just like, let me be a friend, because that gets way better outcomes than anything else.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're going back and forth. And then he goes, where would you like to be? That's what he said. Where would you like to be? I was like, Jared, 3 of my friends are the biggest diehard Jays fans you will ever meet in your entire life since they were like kids.
Yeah.
I would love to be at 1,300 Canadian pre-tax, 1,500 all in. There's like 7 of us that would be watching this game. And he goes to his director that manages the suite rooms, And basically he was able to give us the room, and we were able to surprise our 3 best friends that are like obsessed with the Jays with the room reveal. I'll show you afterwards. Like, we have the video of them seeing the room, and then they won the game 7 that took them to the World Series. It was the craziest experience.
That's insane.
Craziest experience of my life. It was just wild. But yes,
how did it go down from 9,000 to 30? They were just trying to make you happy?
They realized that they were like, we're canceling this guy's room, and he was like visiting his family, and they have the leeway to be able to do that sort of thing.
That's
they
insane.
can. But yeah, that room should have been like 9 or 10 grand.
So that was like the biggest high.
Peak.
And then Saturday was like the biggest low.
They should have won that game. They should have won that game.
What were you were watching at home? Or
at home. Yeah. At home. Yeah, Gabby and I.
And it was
that was tough.
It was an amazing game. It was tough. Like,
they should have won.
They should have, yeah. There were so many moments that were they. And actually, because we watched it, we were here in Miami, and we watched it at like a sports bar, but we couldn't hear the audio, and so we didn't get all the announcer reactions. But then I just realized afterwards, like, we just watched like the greatest game of all time. Did you ever think that, guys? I'm looking at the production guys. That was we saw the greatest game of all time.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Baseball game.
Yeah. Let's not forget 2019 Raps.
Right.
Let's not forget.
But as a game, it was nuts. So, man, people have you been talking to people? Like, people are grieving. They must be like really.
My friends are down bad.
They're down bad.
They're down bad.
Yeah.
They're like, it's because you know what it was like. You know, Gabby and I aren't crazy big baseball fans, but I love stories and like the storyline of it all.
Yeah.
And then also the relationship between the guys. It was different than any other team I've ever seen across any sport.
Yeah.
They were like friends. So it felt like it was almost like summer camp is over.
Yeah.
You know, now we get to go meet in a few months, but like it felt sad. And even the storyline of Savage of just like playing for 350 people in April.
That's crazy.
April.
That's nuts.
Like, imagine, okay, you're presenting, you speak to 300 people for the first time. You're like, okay, great, I can do the speaking thing. And then in the fall of that same year, you speak for a stadium of 50,000 people.
Nuts.
Like, and he's 22. Like, it's just, the storylines were such a cool thing that I think inspired not only the city, but like the country. You know?
Yeah, everybody was into it. I actually think that this heartbreak for the Blue Jays is deeper than the Edmonton Oilers not only losing twice in the finals, but even the first finals. What happened to us as Edmontonians? We were down 3-0, we came back 3-3, and then we lost Game 7, and then we lost again in the playoff. Like, that, the level of heartbreak in Edmonton is deep, but this, like, the Blue Jays were so close. At least with Edmonton, we weren't close with Game 7, and we weren't close in the second series. This was so close.
Because I feel like people can find themselves in that story. You know? People can find themselves in their own, like, I think that's why sports are so cool, because people can find themselves within that storyline and see their own lives superimposed onto that. So, like, 11% chance that they would win against Seattle. They were a complete write-off against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
This is a super team. They're going to be swept. There's $1.4 billion in their across 4 players. They're going to get swept in the first game, in the second game, and you're like, oh, they can actually be in this. And it was almost this like possibility of like, I didn't have belief, but they showed me something, so now I do.
Yeah.
Like, no one had any semblance of confidence in that team. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's kind of the same for themselves. They can like root for something, and they can believe in something that is the unlikely. That's like, it's the David and Goliath.
This man is workshopping his next keynote piece.
I swear, like, it really is. Like,
no, that's pretty cool.
You find yourself in those narratives, in those storylines. Like, even though none of us are MLB pitchers, I'm sure all of us have had a moment where we're like, I'm only 22. What the heck am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's time to meet the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like I was at my parents' house 6 months ago, and now I was like getting that video reaction shot of me hearing that I'm going to be on the Jays, and now I'm standing on the mound with the world watching. Like, that's insane.
That is crazy. So, you know, thinking about that moment and just and your book, this idea of like, you know, I think one of the biggest pieces that come out of your book is this idea of like, you have to show proof that you know, you have this idea of like micro proof, right? So it's this idea of having this moment that shows that you belong, right? And if you stack up some of those micro proofs, then you know, then you build that confidence over time. But what happens when you are going from like, you know, amateur baseball to literally the biggest stage in the world, and it's like you don't have that proof, and you kind of have to show up. Like I'm assuming you're gonna have this imposter syndrome by going from nothing to something.
100%. Imposter syndrome is often a lack of sufficient evidence.
Exactly.
You don't have.
But how does someone deal with that, especially when you're on a stage like that? Like,
it's a great question, because there's going to be a notion, or there's going to be an idea of who you need to be in that moment. And oftentimes people will try and rise to that occasion, and they'll try and just like run toward that and like manufacture it. So then even in any context, they'll like, okay, I guess I just need to fake it till I make it, because what is fake it till you make it? And you see that a lot in the corporate world right now, where it's like I get promoted, or I get a manager role, or I'm a leader for the first time, or I just hit this level, and now I feel like I don't have the experience for that.
Yeah.
So I guess I need to put on a front in order to meet that, you know, persona, or that resume that I'm supposed to have, which I think in those moments, it's what Trey did. It's what, you know, I feel like the best do, is showing up with your best, not the version of the best you think is required.
Right. You just try to put your, you know, best foot forward.
You give it everything you have in this moment. Some will call it presence. Some will call it just engagement for where I'm at, where my feet are today. But when people, it's like, I don't think we should fake it till we make it. I feel like we should like work on it until we become it. And that work happens in the moment. That doesn't happen in the future. And often people will move they will move today with a vision of the future, as opposed to how they need to show up now.
Right.
They're like, I want to be that person. I'm like, great, me too. And we've got to be here to then put in the effort here to create the growth that will lead us to there. So I think it's having honestly the presence to be here to create enough proof for ourselves, so then eventually we can look back and be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I was that guy.
But it's also, you know, to this idea of proof is like when you have that stage, you have to remind yourself that, wait a minute, I already built the library before me, right?
Yes.
To be here. I always think about people that, you know, have this like moment in their life where now they are put on a stage, they're put on a pedestal. Maybe it's Trey, or maybe I look at somebody like you know, Zoran Mamdani, who's going to be, there's an election tomorrow in New York. And this guy has been literally catapulted into this spotlight where now he has to show up. He's like 33 years old, and he's going to become the mayor of New York City. But it's like, in that situation, you can't even, that's like one of the biggest positions like in the world. And I think if I was him, I'd be like, listen, I don't know how to be the mayor of New York, but I can look back in the past and, you know, have some proof that I've done some stuff, and it's kind of worked out. Same thing with Trey, right? He's like, okay, like let me just treat this as like a regular game. I've done this like a million times. You almost have to look back, like not think about where you're going, but it's almost like, just remind yourself that you've already done it. Yes. Remind yourself that it's like you're on a keynote stage. It's like, man, there's like 10,000 people. I've never done this before, but you remind yourself that, I've been in the back room like 1,000 times, like speaking to like 40, 50 people, and then, I can just do this.
And not just remind yourself of what you've done, remind yourself of who you are. I'm someone that's done hard things. I'm someone that sticks to their word. I'm someone that's caring.
Right.
I have enthusiasm. I'm kind. Like sometimes we have to remind ourselves of character traits, not accolades. Because oftentimes people rely on the accolades that they've done, but if then that proof isn't there, like I haven't achieved really anything this year. Sometimes that actually isn't there.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wins or the things you've done, sometimes we'd be like, oh, just look back, see how far you've come. What if it's not that far?
Yeah.
You know, like, what if I haven't done a whole lot? What if I'm actually not proud of, what if looking back, I'm ashamed?
Right.
Then what? Then I'm actually gonna just unlock a core memory I never wanted to come out of to unlock in the first place. I actually need to look back on who I am and what I have built as a person, not what I've achieved as a performer. You know? So I think if you can root yourself in like, no, I am someone that has shown up. That's why I'll tell people a lot of times when they're like, I just feel so discouraged and so like I don't have any confidence in my life, is, okay, well, how can you show up today so that when you wake up tomorrow, you can at least look back at today and be like, yeah, I went on a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up that book when I wanted to pick up the phone and scroll on social. Yeah, I chose the salad instead of choosing the cookie. Like, great decisions compound, but they also will provide confirmation for tomorrow when you look back. Does that, like, yeah, I did 100%. That. I was that person.
What about people that lose their confidence, right? So, you know, I think about my wife, and she's, you know, we've had 3 kids over the last decade, right? And for her to like get back to, you know, get back to business, get back to corporate life, get back to, you know, just normal stuff that she used to just do and not even think about. She has to kind of retrain herself, and then, you know, you have that lack of confidence. I even look at some athletes, and I remember, I don't know if you follow basketball, but there's a guy, Ben Simmons, he used to be on the 76ers.
Yeah, what
like
happened
literally one of the best young players in the game. And there was one playoff series where he hesitated. The whole world descended on him that he was hesitating with the ball. And after that moment, in the playoffs versus the Hawks, he's completely discombobulated. Like, he's not himself. He's still a young guy. He still has all the physical attributes of an incredible player, but he's lost all his confidence. So how does somebody regain that confidence when they were already performing at a high level, but maybe now they're kind of in a funk?
Great question. A lot of confidence is tied to how we see ourselves. You know, I talk about this concept, you'll never outperform your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who can run for 30 minutes without stopping, and that's all you see yourself, we set these psychological ceilings on ourselves. We will not run 45. We'll not run an hour. We will definitely not sign up for a half marathon. Oftentimes the beliefs that we have about ourselves are very much so predict what we're able to do. What happens is a lot of times when we have something happen, we feel like that is a determination or a part of who we are.
Yeah.
I choke in the playoffs. I'm not a career woman anymore. I'm a parent. So there's a really, oh my gosh, what's the book? Alter Ego by Todd Herman, fellow Canadian. I think he's from Edmonton. Talks about the psychology of personalities.
Todd Herman's from Edmonton?
I think so.
Really?
He's Canadian. He's either from Edmonton or Toronto.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I know there's like 12 people from Edmonton.
Imagine, look it up. Todd Herman.
Todd Herman.
Edmonton.
Look, I know he's Canadian.
Okay.
I know that. And Alter Ego, it's an amazing book. And he talks about this thing called the psychology of personality, or these alter egos that we have. That you are one way when you're a mom or a dad, and you're another way at work, and you're another way on the court, and you're another way with your friends. And so like these are all kind of different personalities. So, and each has kind of a different level of confidence. You see it like with some of the best players of all time, like best athletes of all time. Kobe, one of like, I would say top 3 athletes in history. Black Mamba was his sort of alter ego. Beyonce, Sasha Fierce, they all have these like alter ego, different personalities that they step into that have a little more confidence or a little more boldness than their regular personality, so to speak, has. So I always tell people, it's like, what areas of life do you have a ton of confidence in, and where can you borrow that in other areas where you don't? So for example, if you have a ton of confidence in your career and you feel awesome about your career, there's a way you see yourself and beliefs that you have about yourself that are extraordinary that you should probably take over here where you have no confidence. You know, I see a lot of executives
but how do you do that? Like if I'm confident at, you know, I don't know, if I'm confident in my abilities to work out, how do I translate that to, you know, my confidence at work?
Dating or whatever
dating.
it is.
Yeah,
yes.
dating's a great example.
Yes.
Working out and dating is a great example.
100%. So some people, gym heads, they crush it. They will get their 90 minutes in every single day. So you have to model and copy what you do in this area and that area. For example, that's why, like in the confidence cycle, the first step is to generate energy, to give energy to an area of your life you'd like to build confidence in. So in the gym, what have you done well? You've given a level of energy and focus and commitment to that that does not exist over here. So if you're going to the gym every day, 7 days a week, how many new girls are you saying hi to every single week at a new coffee shop? How many conversations are you sparking? How many dates are you setting up? So if you're giving a level 10 energy here, but a level 2 energy there, that's why things aren't the same. So it's like, how do you take this level of drive and commitment and energy, because what you pour energy into will grow. If you pour energy into negativity, that will grow. If you pour energy into positivity, it will grow. If you give energy to your bank account, you look at that every day, you're gonna find a way to make that number increase. If you ignore it and give energy over here,
100%.
It's not gonna improve. So I think the first step is really giving energy to that area of life you want to build confidence in. For me, I remember one of the first things was I used to be super overweight. You know, I was 75 pounds overweight, obese, had binge eating disorder, and it controlled.
I remember you saying that, and I was like, this guy is like one of the fittest guys I know, man.
I was literally, it felt like I was imprisoned by food. And I remember the first step, I was like, if this is something I want to figure out, like I have to give this energy. Like I have to give this time and focus and commitment. So I'm gonna sign up for the gym even before I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and like eat a salad for the first time in years, and I don't know how this is gonna work. And like you have to give that thing energy. So I think the first step is defining what area of life you want to build more confidence in, even if it's taking a hit. I have some friends that in the dating world, they've taken a hit in confidence with the girl that they really were into and that just didn't reciprocate, and they're like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, you have to pour more energy into that area and commit to it and take action in it, which is also one of the steps to be able to say, I'm gonna make this thing grow. I'm gonna have this thing grow.
I love that, and I love the idea of mixing that with alter ego, because once you have an alter ego, you build an alter ego, then you're like, okay, if I'm an alter, you know, I have a friend, his name is Aleem Jiwa, he says, I assume an alter ego with almost any task that I have. So he's like, when I fold my clothes, I imagine that I'm a butler for Aleem. So he's like, I want to make sure that I'm doing this in the right way for my master Aleem, and I'm gonna fold this nicely, and I'm gonna pour, you know, all the energy into this. And I'm like, that is actually incredible. He's switching in an identity in order to complete that task. That's a superpower. Like if you're able to do that.
And you can pick your alter egos by asking, what drives focus? What creates reality? Our focus. What drives our focus? The questions we ask. We have 12 to 60,000 thoughts every single day. The majority of them are questions. How do I feel about this? What do I want to eat today? Am I tired? Where do I need to be after this? It's actually questions. We often don't say like statements to ourselves. We're asking questions. Are they thinking of me? Are they judging me? What if this doesn't work out? All of them are questions. So the way to sort of use alter ego in question form of like, you're going to the gym, how would The Rock show up to this workout? How would Gordon Ramsay cook this meal? How would Shawn walk on stage?
You know what's funny is that every time I go on stage, I always tell myself beforehand, I tell this to myself, I'm like, I'm the greatest of all time at doing this. This is gonna be the greatest performance that I ever see. And I'm just here to deliver and serve as much as possible. And I always come in that mindset before I step onto the stage. And just trying to give it my all. And I don't know if it's me trying to develop this alter ego, but like, that's what I do in every single keynote that I do.
I freaking love that. I do a similar thing. It's like, you have to talk yourself into who you're going to be. You know? I'll say like, I'm the funnest person these people have ever met. That's what I say every single time. I'm the funnest I am the funnest person these people have ever met. I'm going to bring the amount of joy, enthusiasm, charisma, passion, care. I care more and love these people more than anyone in their life. And I'm going to show up with that love. I'm going to show up with God.
Love that.
And I'm going to, like, that creates a version of you that, like, you kind of is an aspirational version. And I think and you've probably seen this. And if you are watching this and you have not seen this, pull over, whatever you're doing, and YouTube this, Google it, is McConaughey's acceptance speech when he won the Oscar for Best Picture. Have you seen this?
I recall. I don't know what he said, but I do recall.
Everyone has their hero.
Everyone has their hero, and it is the greatest speech, and essentially talks about, like, the different people you're sort of, like, working toward, and, like, one is the version of him 5 years from now, and he talks about, he's like, the version of me 5 years from now, I'm going to get there. And he's like, what's your dream? And he's like, that's my dream. The person that 5 years from now, that's my dream. And once I get there and I meet that person, and then it's like, okay, then what's your dream then? It's like the person 5 years away. So it's like I'm always chasing that person that I want to be. And I think in part for me that is so, like, I'm always thinking about that person, the 8-year-old, I'm sure you've heard this as well, like the 8-year-old you versus the 80-year-old you.
No.
The 8-year-old you is the one that's, like, full of dreams, full of ambition, that has no limitations, that no one's told them that they can't do anything. And that kid that just, like, can literally, anything is possible for them. And then the 80-year-old version of you that has lived a full life, that either has fulfillment or has regret. So, like, make the 8-year-old version of you proud. And, like, be that person, because that kid would believe in you. And then the 80-year-old version, make sure that they don't have any regrets.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like this idea of dying full or dying boldly, or, just to me, like, I've been going to a lot of funerals lately. Not my friends, but my mother. I've been taking her to a lot of funerals for her friends. She's aging now, and a lot of her friends are passing away. So I've been accompanying her to these funerals, and I've just realized that it's like when you're dead, when people speak on your behalf, they're actually not mentioning your accolades. They're not mentioning your achievements. They're just kind of mentioning a story about you, a funny story, and it's actually a very recent story. And it's funny because it's not really about what you did.
No.
Even though we make it about what we want to live without regrets, for sure. But what's funny is that nobody else is thinking about that, about all the achievements that you've had and all the successes that you've had. So that's what I find interesting, is that we have this, it's really great to think about, we want to live a life where we have no regrets, yet no one cares about that. They only care about how they made you feel. They only care about, the funny moments that you've had, or the sweet moments that you've had, or how you care for somebody. So I mention that because there's a disconnect between what really matters and kind of, what we think matters.
100%. I'm more and more realizing that the biggest accomplishment to this date, or the thing I'm most proud of in my life, is having amazing friends.
Yeah.
And an amazing wife that is my best friend.
Yeah.
And having amazing relationships, and, like, having an amazing family and the people in my life.
So why'd you move to Miami then?
That is a great question. Lifestyle. Obviously, weather is great.
Because I would imagine that, like, your crew is in Toronto, right? Like your best friends are in Toronto.
Yes. Obviously, Gabby, some of her family is here.
Okay.
And then some of her family is in California, and then our friends are in Toronto. But one of our, like, closest friends, my, like, best friend, lives in Ancaster. It's like hour and a half from Toronto.
Okay.
And then my family lives in Durham, which is like an hour outside of the city in the opposite direction. And I found that living in the city, like in the heart of the city, I would often see them maybe like once a month.
Right.
Especially with travel and things going on, like, there's, life gets busy, and I wouldn't see them often. Now, I probably see them once a month. But now, I'm staying with them the whole time.
Right.
And I'm not going and driving there for a few hours. So, like, on March, like the actual time spent together in person is probably far more than when I was actually living in Toronto. That's
interesting.
Yeah, like I spend more time with them, but the ultimate goal in terms of not only our like really close friends is obviously to live in close proximity, and moving to, like, if they told me tomorrow, they're like, hey, we're all moving to Texas or whatever it is, I'm like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're all like, let's get a cul-de-sac, let's all live. But I think now, especially with what we do, like I can hop on a plane and be in Toronto in 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, and I can do that on like a Tuesday.
It is one, but it's hard. It's hard. You got to live in the same city because the proximity is I think incredibly important.
For sure.
When people have kids and stuff like that, like, and a lot of people ask me because I live in the worst city to do this job, which is Edmonton. Where you always got to connect.
Edmonton's a great airport.
It's fun. Yeah, so I think it's underrated. I think it's great, but it is hard to get to places, right? Like literally to come to Miami. Every time I come to Orlando. It's a full day, right? It's like going to London, it's going to Portugal. It's like, it takes a full day to get there, right? But I would never live anywhere else because that's where my friends and my family, we have an incredible network. We have like, that's home.
Is your wife also from?
She's from Edmonton.
Edmonton?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my mom is like 10 minutes away. Her mom is 10 minutes away, so
That's
5 minutes away.
That's awesome. So, yeah, Gabby came to Toronto for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was a hard 2 years.
Right, but her family is close by, so that's why I got it.
Yeah.
I gotta get into your so like, man, I hate your how like optimized you are. Like you're doing a run. You're waking up early in the morning. You're going for a run. You're doing a cold plunge. You're like the Instagram reel that we say, this is what I do in the morning, and I'm like, damn it, how can I do that? It's you got it down. How do I have that level of discipline where I can do that?
I don't like.
I'm angry.
It's backward. I don't have it down, so I do that. I do that, so I have it down. I'd be a mess if I did. Like, and I always tell people, it's like, how are you so disciplined? It's like,
okay, first of all, when you wake up in the morning,
yes.
What are you doing?
Aside from hating myself for the first 4 minutes,
okay,
just, you saw this career probably isn't for you. There's people far more qualified. You have done nothing. Why are you just, that 4 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes every single day. I realized that in order to live a great life, it's not by what you aspire to or say, it's by what you do. So I have to have my feet hit the ground, and then I get up, brush my teeth, kind of wash my face, go downstairs, drink some water, pray to God, and ask Him for the strength to be able to remember who I am and who He's created me to be, so that I can show up in the world in a poureful way.
What time is that?
I wake up at 5:30. I'm downstairs because, dude, I have to get out of my head quickly. Like, Gabby loves a slow morning. I physically can't do a slow morning because I will hate myself for the 20 minutes. I will beat myself up the entire time.
Wow.
So I need to go quickly so that I can't even let my brain convince me that I'm a terrible person.
Okay, 5:30, you do all this, you pray.
I'm drinking water. Like 5:40, I'm out of the door by 5:45.
Where? Where are you going?
I'm leaving. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Okay.
Either running, on a run, or to the gym.
Yep.
Get to the gym at 6, work out for an hour, come home, shower up, make breakfast, jump into work, and just go.
Where's the plunge, though? There's a plunge.
Oh, there is a plunge. After a run, I will plunge after my run. Like, I will cold plunge after the run. On lift days, I don't plunge right after because it's not really good for like muscle growth, all that sort of stuff. So I will wait a few hours and then I'll plunge in the middle of the day, just as an assault.
Wow.
At 2 p.m. It's horrible. And it doesn't.
You're like Ashton Hall. It
doesn't get easier. Not at all. It's like, he lives in Miami. Not at all. Not at all. But that whole day is just me, like a series of me doubting myself and questioning and second guessing. But I've realized it's far easier to act your way into motivation than to motivate yourself in action. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I would always try and like motivate myself in action, and it would never work. Like, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I have to act, and then the feeling comes. I think the biggest problem is that people have is they think that's backward.
Yeah.
They think that I need to feel ready or I need to feel prepared, or I need to feel confident, or I need to feel like the right person in order to do. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Do
the thing.
so that you can like feel the result afterward. So like that is like everything I have. The one thing I've done right is probably that.
Yeah.
Is like do it before you feel like.
Yeah. You have a quote in this book from Hormozy at the beginning of the chapter. You know that quote? It's like you something about belief. It's like people believe that it's about like believing in something, when really like it's about just doing it.
Yeah, it's doing and giving yourself undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Yeah. Like it's because the thing is, if you've done something for 200 days, on day 201, you're probably gonna believe the fact that you're gonna pull that off.
Yeah.
That you're gonna do it. I just think people haven't given themselves enough proof, and they give up far too early. I'm sure you've seen the like meme where it's like the caricature with the guy like with a pickaxe, and he's going through the mountain, and there's gold on one side, and then it's just like I quit. There's nothing here, and he was like this close.
Right.
It was right there.
Yeah.
People give up right before it's gonna work.
That's the Blue Jays.
Like the first, too soon? Maybe not soon enough. Yeah, it's I remind people the first 3 years, the first 3 years of business, I was under the poverty line in Canada. First year I did $1,750 Canadian, which is like $48 US. Like it was unsustainable. Next year I did $28,720. The next year I did 29, and this is before expenses. So what's the net?
Yeah.
Below 3 years.
Yeah.
So now people will see the result and they're like, I want to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I want to LeBron, I want to dunk. Okay. Like what are I think we celebrate the end.
Yeah, of course.
And fail to acknowledge the during. Way too much. Way too much.
When you take a look at what you're doing right now, was there a model of someone that you were like, I want to be that person? I know you went to an event when you were like 19, when you were a kid, and you saw something, you're like, I want to do that. But like, also getting into this space, like, was there someone that you were like, I want to be that person?
Well, yeah, I'm sitting with them. They're wearing a suede jacket. No, there was a few. You were one of them. There was a few guys and gals that I was like, oh, they're doing it right, not big. They're doing it right, meaning they are so good at being themselves. Because I've seen a lot of great speakers that are awesome, that are a version of themselves on stage and a version of themselves off. And I'm like, if you can be just you and have extraordinary ideas to share, and then share that, and then it works.
What do you mean by that? Because we were talking about alter ego, and maybe sometimes you have to assume a different ego when you're on stage in order to do that performance.
That often is belief, not personality.
Oh, okay.
Right. So belief, like assume an alter ego in terms of what you believe about yourself.
Yeah.
But be like, if I meet you after a keynote, I would hope that you would kind of have the same enthusiasm as before the keynote. And dude, I'm sure you've had this too. I've met some people afterward and I've known them for like a few years, like from afar, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, you're legit. And I meet them afterwards. I'm like, oh, there was an act. Like you're not.
Right.
You're not. That was a gimmick.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard that. I don't really meet that many people, but
it was crazy. Like I've had, and then I've had some where I meet some, and I'm like, even when we met, I was like, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like that totally makes sense. It tracks. That tracks.
Yeah.
So many people in the industry that I've met that are like, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
So was that seeing other people, was that a catalyst, or did you put people in like, oh, that's cool, like they're doing it in their own way, and did you take different pieces from different people and be like, I like kind of what they're doing? Yeah,
I think it was like there was an obsession with studying how the greats did it, and even to like watching every Netflix special
Yeah.
Because they are the best speakers with just no message, and I don't understand how no one sees that. They're just extraordinary. They have an hour special, and it just has no point. It's just, the point is to make you laugh.
Yeah.
But they have no like keynote
Well, some people
topic.
have a point, but
Some people have a point, and they got like a Trevor Noah has some like really good messaging underneath. Hassan Minhaj, like there's some like Homecoming King, like some great pieces.
You're talking to the guy that loves Netflix specials, so I love dissecting, how people do it.
Yeah, that's where I studied quite a bit, and then seeing other speakers, of course, and then like learning how to be yourself in front of people, which is hard. Like, Miles Davis, the famous jazz musician, said it took me 10 years to learn to play like myself. Yeah, it takes a long time to be able to be yourself in front of 1,000 people.
When did it lock in for you in terms of like?
Oh my gosh, like 3 weeks ago?
No, it didn't.
Dude, it honestly, I would say, because I started, with students, high school students, college students, parents, educators, and I was like cool in that lane. And then I felt like I got called up. I was like, okay, I'm playing the like house league or like AA, AAA, and it's like, okay, here, my first corporate keynote was for American Express, for all their top partners.
Yeah.
So like American Airlines, Delta, Etihad, Emirates, all sitting in the room. And I was like 28 at the time, 29. And I'm like, I'm a child. I'm a kid going in. These are all the executives. And the average age is probably like 40s or 50s. And I'm like, what am I doing here? So there was a part of like trying to be more of myself in the corporate world, because I didn't think that it, or even the confidence message, would even be accepted.
Yeah.
Or like, companies don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about AI. They want to hear about the future of work. They want to hear about, resilience or team building. Like, they don't want to hear about belief or like having their people be more confident. They don't want to hear that. And like, I had all of these things come back from when I like started the speaking in general. So I would say recently I've like found some stride in being able, but then it's levels to it, because then I'll get an email, hey, this client, who would like you to come and speak. And by the way, the other speakers are Shawn Kanungo, Martha Stewart, Vince Vaughn, childhood
and
idol.
Flo Rida, by the way.
Flo Rida performing the night of when we speak. Flo Rida's performing. I'm like, okay, that's all right, great. Like, there's levels to it. So I think every next level of life demands a more confident version of you. And sometimes you think the confidence that got you here is going to get you there. And then life is like, ha. Try this one.
Yeah.
Try this one out.
So in those circumstances, do you, what do? You put in more prep, you put in more time? Like, there's nothing that will, it's not you're gonna become like a 6-year-old. If you're not confident because you're not the model of what they're looking for. Like, if you're in front of all these airline executives and they're looking for like a 6-year-old dude that has all this airline experience, like, that's never gonna happen. So
yes.
What do you do in that circumstance?
I think first freak out. If you see the sort of the journey of emotions, kind of freak out a little bit. Then realize that the variable I have control over is preparation. Yeah. Like, I think Kobe talked about this a lot of like, Jay Williams? Jay Williams was facing Kobe. And he was like, I know I'm facing Kobe. And this was like one of the first times they were like meeting up. And so he's like, I'm going to go to the arena early. And he shows up like 2 hours early. Yeah. And then he walks in there and Kobe is drenched in sweat.
Love that story.
And then he starts to practice. And then Jay eventually leaves. And then he asked him, and then Kobe, I think, dropped like 40 on him that game. And then afterwards, Jay asked him, he's like, what the heck were you doing in the gym? He's like, well, I was going to leave, but then I saw you come in. So then I stayed because I wasn't going to leave. So I think the preparation of like, I know if I walk into a room and I am so prepared and I'm so dialed in, I have confidence because I'm convicted.
Yeah.
In that I have conviction that I've prepared, like, Tony Robbins said this, you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private.
Yeah.
Like, people see an hour keynote and they're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, great transition. How did you call that back? It's like, they don't see the hours of, especially for this event, I have to land the plane at 30 minutes, which is nothing. So I have to get dialed to land that plane at 29:30.
Right.
So that's going to take, for an hour, 30-minute keynote, it's like hundreds of hours of prep.
Yeah, and I love that. And, for me too, it's all about,
what is your prep? Because you do, like, I feel like for every client, it's like a custom, you built like an LLM for them and like for their industry. Like, how is
to me,
your process?
To me, that's the fun piece, which is the ability to customize those pieces. And usually, it's a couple days before or a couple weeks before or even the night before, where, you're just figuring out, how do I make this relevant for them and customizing it so that I feel like the work for me is around the customization.
Yeah.
It's just trying to make it as, like, I want to be able to do their job better than them by showing them how to do it, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of like, I find, to me it's fun. It's like problem solving, it's finding out their industries. So like maybe it's similar to you, but like I never hang out like in the city that I'm in. I'm always like I'll be in a really nice city. I'll be in like, Portugal, and people are like, oh, how was it? I'll be like, I didn't see any of it. I was literally in my room prepping for this thing, and then afterwards I was prepping for the next thing right afterwards, and just being diabolical about the preparation for this event going. Just this keynote being the best it's ever going to be, and that obsession is, and I enjoy it. So I mean, it's not even like I'm sad that I can't see anything. I'm actually obsessed with making that amazing for them
because it's their Super Bowl.
Exactly,
it's their biggest day of the year. Sure, it's another date on the calendar, but for them, they've been planning for months. This is their one time they get together. The keynote is arguably the most important thing aside from the food. It's the one thing that people talk about. It's the thing that kind of kicks off or closes the show. Like, it is everything. So if you don't treat it with that level of respect and like meeting the moment of like, this is game 7. Every time is game 7.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was a friend of mine.
That's such a crazy analogy. I love that.
Every single one.
Yeah.
It's like there's no do-overs.
Yeah.
This needs to go well. They're spending, for most events, millions of dollars on putting this event on. And you're the one, maybe they bring in 2, 3, 4 keynotes, maybe, but like you're the one.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can you prepare and bring your best? And a friend of mine, speaker friend of mine, said he's like, the only thing I'm thinking about at a given time is not what events I'm doing, it's the next event.
Yep. 100%.
What am I thinking about? The next.
100%.
Nothing else exists in my mind aside from the next event. I was like, that's a really cool way of thinking about it.
And to me, that's also been like just a personal, I guess like a detriment in the way where, I'm so obsessed with the sport that it requires like a full court press energy.
100%.
And because of that, like I also am interested, there's other things that I'm interested in building but this requires so much energy because of that it's tough to like almost put in energy in anywhere else because you're just so dedicated to this craft and trying to make it amazing and great and being obsessed with it. Like it's hard.
It's the best thing ever, but it's also like there's so much that goes into it before and then even afterward. Like people are like, oh, it must be so nice to be on stage or deliver keynote. If you take the amalgamation of a year and the amount of hours that you work and how many times you were physically on a stage, 1%?
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe less. Probably a 0.% for almost any speaker. It's like and you do it for that one moment. You prepare so much for that one moment and you have one way to say hello and say hi and to open the show and you got one thing and the timer, okay, the slides are dead, fine, that's what, let's keep going. Like there's one moment, there's no do-overs. And I think that's what like, I obsess about just how can I make this, it's never like, oh, I'm doing it. It's like, no, how can I make it better?
Yeah.
How can
Love that,
how can I improve it? And it's, yeah.
How much are you writing new stuff and
all the time.
create new content?
I'm thinking about it all the time. I literally, my EA starts today because I want to free up more time to create more, like, because I sort of have this like Netflix special-esque framework of like, okay, here's the keynote, but I'm always, okay, let me move this piece. This doesn't feel right. Let me add this in. Let me try this. Because the thing is, with a keynote, if you do like 50 a year, 60 a year, you only have 60 tries. That's not a lot. You can shoot 60 basketballs in a day.
Yeah.
Like you only have 60 times to refine, or 70 or 8, like that's it. So for me, it's like I will sometimes, something will randomly come out on stage and it's like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like that really worked. Let me use that more. Like one time I was talking about the energy piece in keynote and I said, people meet your energy before they meet you. And I saw probably like 30% of the room like,
You randomly said that. Wow.
It's one of the core pillars now.
Yeah.
Because it like starts the keynote.
Yeah.
And I just said it randomly. Because I was talking about like the energy we bring into the world is what it like, and I just said it and I was like, okay, that seemed like it worked. So like that sort of thing. And I just love the game of it too.
Yeah.
Like of closing a new deal, of like what event I can be a part of and partner with and be excited about. Because like sometimes speakers are kind of like, yeah, it's another date on the calendar.
Yeah. No, I can see that you're obsessed with it. And that's why, I think there's very few people that really inspire me in the game. And I've always told you this, like you are absolutely one of the people that inspire me, and just your level of your energy towards it, your dedication to the craft, like what you're doing on social. Like I think you understand it, and you're just like one of the guys that will like just, you're gonna continue to skyrocket, and it's just inevitable. Yeah, so it's really cool to see, and I'm so proud to see like, where we even chatted like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And to see where you're at now, like, is really, really cool.
That was crazy. On throwback for everyone, I think it was on the phone, we talked, I was in a hotel I think I was in Edmonton. I'm not even kidding. And I was prepping for a student speech. And I remember I was just at this point where I was like falling out of love with that game and with that world of going to high schools and speaking to students, a lot of which are forced to be there, a lot of which that aren't ready to really hear any sort of message. And it's like, I was just kind of falling out of love with that. And I was like, is it me? What's going on? And then I saw semblance of like, well, one day I'll do that thing. And then I remember we talked on the phone and you kind of just like open Pandora's box of like, oh, this and this and this, and this is like fees, and this is this, and here is how bureaus work, and this, and you just kind of like laid it all out. And I was like, oh, I knew no one at Speaker Spotlight. I had not a single bureau relationship at all at that point whatsoever, not one. And I remember I was like, I just want to figure out the whole speaking world in the corporate space, and you are one of the first people to like have that conversation. And I messaged so many people that ignored me and just completely left me on red that have now messaged me this year. I'm not even kidding. That have messaged me this year, and I will message back because I do not hold spite or I have no resentment.
Isn't that the most beautiful thing in the world?
I'm like all love, but I message a lot of people, and you were one of the only, you, Peter Katz, were some of the only people that messaged back and that responded. And these people, I messaged them and they read the message.
Wow.
I saw that they read the message and they did not respond. I was like, that's fine.
You know what the coolest moves in the world is when the people that you DM because you think that they're ahead of you, and they read your message, they never respond, and then later you become their peers, or even, you ascend higher than them. That's one of the and then you actually message them or they message you and they see the DM.
In the same thread.
They see the DM in the thread. I've had that so many times, where, people that I looked up to have become my peers. And I always try to message people because, I can get value from anyone. So I always try to, someone DMs me, I will absolutely DM you back. Because you never know, you can learn from anybody, right?
Yeah. And this year I've had I will not, but I can name five.
Crazy.
That message, and the last message was me pouring out my heart and soul, saying listen, your work inspires me. I love what you're doing. I want to be there one day. For context, I'm speaking in the student space. I'm speaking in high schools, but I got a dream of being in this world, and you're crushing it at all levels, and I would love to. Radio silence. And then they're like, hey, how are you working with so many bureaus? Woo! It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm like, hey, here's exactly how. Here's the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah. And that's the best way to approach it. Yeah.
I want to help.
Yeah.
I want to be helpful. Yeah. Because it's not what I do.
But the best thing is just to reply to that existing thread.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, it's so cool. It's so cool to see what you're doing, man. I'm just there's very few people that are going to be on this trajectory that you're on right now, and you have everything that is going to propel you to I'm just glad, I'm blessed to have you here, because this is the last time that you're gonna be in this studio in Miami. I was gonna ask you one last question before you leave, because obviously I talk about AI, and I think it relates to your book around confidence. A lot of people are worried about AI taking their job. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's a recent report that came out last week that Amazon, I think, let go of 14,000 employees because of AI. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be left in the dust. Mm-hmm. They're going to be without a job because they didn't upskill. They didn't approach this game in the right way possible, and they're going to be sitting at home with actually probably all the confidence that they probably need at the job. They just didn't pick up the right tools.
Yes.
What do you say to someone that is now looking for a job because they lost it because of AI, and now they're trying to get into this game, get into a new job, get in a new industry, upskill? What do you say to someone like that?
It's such a good question. It's a conversation I've had so often, as you can imagine, where everyone is so afraid of what is going to come in the future, but also the future is kind of here.
Yeah.
In some aspects, and how do I navigate? Okay, I lost my job. That skill is being replaced, and what do I do now? I had all the confidence here, but now I feel unprepared.
Yeah.
I think number one is that I don't think AI is going to replace all of the jobs. I think,
of course not, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, just like every sort of revolution that happens, there's going to be a renaissance of new jobs that we don't even know of, that those people will be able to engage with. And what I will say is that I have a lot of friends that own companies that are hiring right now, that are a friend of mine that owns a company in Miami, a cold plunge company, is scaled from 2 to 20 million in 18 months.
I can see that happening in Miami.
Hiring like crazy. Before, hiring used to be strictly for what was on the resume. Can you do the job? I feel like we are transitioning to the time where people will be hiring for attitude. Can you do the job with enthusiasm?
Yep.
Do we like to be around you? Are you bringing a great vibe and a great energy? I would say the first thing, focus on the person you're bringing to the interview. Focus on the person you're bringing to the table.
Love that.
Because organizations want great people to work with. You're going to be a facilitator. You're going to be a facilitator. Yeah. You're going to have all these AI tools.
You're going to be a curator, and it's people that are hungry, that are bold.
100%. So number one is bring a great attitude. I think attitude is such an underutilized asset today. Attitude is such a scarce commodity, and it is literally a superpower. I don't know if there's a book on attitude, but that is the thing that I would optimize for. The second thing would be to be the kind of person that is extraordinary. If they tell you to be there at 1, be there at 12:55. If they tell you to do 5, let's do 6. the go above and beyond culture has so gone because of the tech that has made everything so easy. I want food. Yeah, leave at my door. Oh yeah, I want to book an Uber. Okay, yeah, just come at this time. Like, I remember having to order food, and I had to call on the landline, and call, and then wait patiently, and then go with my family in the minivan to go pick up the food, stop by Blockbuster on the way back to go decide as a family what movie we're gonna watch. Like, there was adversity there. Right now, with everything so automated and everything so easy, like I'm sure you've seen those studies where it's like AI kind of makes you dumber a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I think there is going to be a craving and a desire for people that are exceptional.
Yeah.
People that are bold,
Love that.
people that are extraordinary, people that like literally go above and beyond.
This is why I think there's a lot of reports coming out around the impact of AI to new grads, and this is like the worst time for a new grad to get a job. I actually think that if you're a new grad with the right attitude, that will go above and beyond, that wants to be extraordinary, that wants to make a dent in the universe, I actually would hire a new grad that's hungry than anybody that's been they've been in their career for 30 years and they've reached the peak of their curiosity and learning and hungry. But I mean, that to be said, like if you are somebody that is 30, 40 years in your career and you're still hungry and learning and you want to pick up these tools, then you are the most dangerous person in the room. But I'm just saying, like a new grad that wants to be hungry and do that, I would hire them all day long over someone that's been at their company for 30 years. Peaked.
100%. I went through a series of interviews like over the past few months for the executive role, and the amount of people that didn't have these two things. Their attitude was so off, and they weren't extraordinary. They weren't exceptional. They didn't go above and beyond and like performed at a high level and gave something their best. Like, we're missing a lot of that, where you give. That's why I think like doing a workout or playing sports is so great for kids, is because it shows them, like when you do a hard workout or when you go all out to play a game in a game or in a sport, it shows you a part of yourself you didn't really know that was there. And like now, Carla, like who literally started today, she just came from being the EA for 7 executives at PwC.
Yeah.
7.
Well, if you got someone that's been at PwC partners, you got someone good.
Like, it's crazy.
Because that's high level.
Everyone I interviewed
stress.
was honestly subpar.
Yeah.
Subpar, terrible attitude, couldn't perform their way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
This is the most important message, which is like, that's the next book, man. Extraordinary.
Yeah, attitude.
Listen, man, this book is incredible. It's been an honor knowing you and seeing your rise, brother. And I can't wait to see you next week when we're in Palm Springs.
Literally next week.
Yeah, man, appreciate you being on, man.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
This was awesome. This is awesome. Thank you, bro. All right, we'll see you in the next one.
One quick thing before you end.
Yes, sir.
Todd Herman, Medicine Hat, grew up, played football, University of Alberta.
Medicine Hat.
Come on, that's close.
That's good. That's pretty good.
He played football for U of A at Emerson.
Oh, wow.
Come
checker.
on.
Hey, can you fact check about the McConaughey thing too, or no? All right. We'll
Get
see
the
you next
script.
time.
Get the script.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, sweet.